Welcome to part 2 of this video. In part 1, we discussed why the driver was wrong about corpus delicti. Now, we get to discuss the idea that traffic infractions are not crimes. First, thanks to Wren versus United States, any traffic offense committed by a driver is a legitimate basis for a stop. So when the officer pulls the driver over for faulty brake lights, which is a traffic offense, the stop was lawful. This doesn't stop the driver, however, from claiming that, according to People versus Battle, traffic infractions are not crimes. Well, that's not true, and I can prove it. In People versus Battle, the argument was made that Section 16 of the California Penal Code states, crimes and public offenses include felonies, misdemeanors, and infractions. Section 689 stated, no person can be convicted of a public offense unless by verdict of a jury. But Section 19C, now known as 19.6, states, a person charged with an infraction shall not be entitled to a trial by jury. Well, hold on a second, the law is contradicting itself, right? Let's break that down. Before I begin, keep in mind that according to California state law at the time of the trial, infractions were either crimes or public offenses. So the Sixth Amendment of the Constitution states that in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed. The problem with that argument is that usually infractions aren't criminal offenses, they're civil offenses, since the punishment can't include imprisonment. So the idea that this is a violation of constitutional rights is out, but California law is still contradicting itself about whether or not a jury is required. Traffic infractions must be a public offense, which means they both do and do not require juries. So if an infraction also doesn't require jury, then it must not be a public offense or a misdemeanor or a felony, right? And therefore must not be enforceable by police. It's really confusing. To figure this one out, we have to look at more of the case. And when we do, we discover the court ruled because of the inconsistencies in the law and because Section 19C was updated more recently than Section 689, 19C actually takes precedence. This case also referenced People versus Oppenheimer, a previous ruling which established that infractions were petty crimes, and which also referenced Baldwin versus New York, a Supreme Court case that established that only serious offenses, not petty offenses such as traffic infractions, require a trial by a jury. A serious offense is one that carries a potential sentence of 6 or more months imprisonment or a weighty totality of penalties. It's still a little difficult to follow, so I'm going to break it down one more time. The Supreme Court says an officer can stop a driver for a traffic offense. Traffic infractions in California are civil offenses, not criminal offenses, and therefore not guaranteed a trial by jury in accordance with the Sixth Amendment. Since they aren't criminal, they must be public offenses, which California law still requires a jury for. Due to conflicting laws but non-conflicting timelines, that requirement doesn't hold water, and infractions are actually petty offenses. The Supreme Court has ruled that petty offenses do not require a trial by a jury. Therefore, ipso facto, you don't require a trial by jury if your taillights are not functional. Confused? This is why it takes 8 years to become a lawyer, and this is even close to how bonkers things can get. But I don't have a law degree. What if I'm wrong? Even if People versus Battle did confirm the driver's argument, it isn't a Supreme Court case. It only reached the Superior Court of Los Angeles. The case specifically revolves around the California Penal Code, and the driver isn't in California. She's in Georgia. They're a bit far apart. So, there you have it. Traffic infractions may not be criminal acts, but they can be enforced. And before we end this video, let's check out how a traffic stop ended. Notice that the officer is putting on gloves? If you ever see an officer doing that, you're probably about to be arrested, and or something is about to be broken. Do you know what another good indicator is? When the officer pulls out his baton. Finally, the window of the car she is in, which isn't even hers, is smashed, and she is arrested. For more content like this, hit that subscribe button. If you have suggestions on more sovereign citizen videos, let me know in the comments. And until the next time, be good, stay safe.